Alright, there's been a lot of people asking about the gear editor. I wanted to clarify some things. The first is that until recently, you had to hex edit, and I didn't really feel like making a video about hex editing was something that a lot of people would want to do. People would obviously want the easier solution, which is just to pick it from a drop-down menu. I'm very much the same. I have messed with stuff like that before. I actually did make my own cheat engine table for this while I had the review key because I didn't want to do all that grinding again, and it was pretty hard to find the values and stuff. Now someone has actually made a cheat engine table that just straight up lets you do exactly what I said. So as you can see here, let me make this bigger. You can see here I have Ultimate Courage there, and I actually edited that in. So what you need to do is you need to download the cheat engine table. I assume that you know how to use cheat engine, so I'm gonna skip all those steps. But generally, if you're new to cheat engine, I will say either subscribe to their Patreon, which gives you just a version of the cheat engine with no bloatware, or just turn off your internet before you install it. That prevents all the bloatware from being installed. I know a lot of people are apprehensive about that. Their Patreon is only like, I think it's like $2.50 a month. So if you want constant updates and you don't want to have to deal with all that crap, then that's what I recommend. In any case, you have what's basically a best in slot scroll here. So if I wanted to take off something like Ultimate Courage, I could change this to something else. I could change it to Ultimate Stamina. And then you click OK. You actually can't see the drop-down menu. I'm doing a lot of real-time editing here, so please bear with me. If I scroll back to the item, then the change is actually there. So since I don't want Ultimate Stamina, my character is a Key Destroyer. And go back to the menu. I don't think you guys really need to see the menu anyway. It's literally just just picking and choosing. You click OK, and then scroll back to the menu, and it will update. So now I have Courage, Strength, and Constitution, which is about as good as it gets. Now, I think you can also use this on Soul Cores as well. You can also use it on Soul Cores too. So for Gozuki, I put, let's see here. We'll put active key damage. So it's actually good that that happened. What that means is that the cool thing about this is that it's not really cheating. I know some people still want to play the game legitimately. You know, they don't want to give themselves like 5,000% key damage and 2,000 strength and stuff. Like, they want to play the game legitimately, they just want to mess around with builds. You know, this is predominantly a single-player game, so when you do stuff like this, you need to check that it is the legitimate value, because if you try to put something above that value, above that hard limit, then it won't work. So I'm not exactly sure how this would work with Soul Cores, but you do have the option of putting some other things on as well. So let's try putting on some more zero key damage. So let's take off the water damage and put melee damage versus zero key and see if it takes that. Yeah, you have to put the right value. So See, like that time it didn't take. So, this isn't as good as you think. It's pretty good for like scrolls and stuff, scrolls and weapons and armor. But for soul cores, it seems like you need to know the exact value, and I don't exactly know what that is. But in a way, it's a blessing in disguise. You can mess with this on your own time and figure out exactly what it is you want. So let's go ahead and show this one more time, and let's get it to keep it. Like, see, I made this here. I gave myself the melee damage versus purified enemy, and then sloth on ninjutsu, which is like best in slot for what I'm trying to do. Let me turn this off for a second, so you can see it right there. So what we're gonna do is, like I said, this is real-time editing. We're gonna take off the Mystic Dyad Odachi because I don't use that weapon. So let's put on this really quick. Take off the Mystic Dyad Odachi and put Ultimate Courage, because that's what I need for my build. There's a lot to scroll through in here, you have to give me a second. Okay, now if I turn this off, you'll see that it kept. So now, go ahead and save. Now if I back out of the game, it should stick. There it is. That's like a damn near best in slot scroll for what I'm trying to do right now. You just have to make sure that you have the correct value. If you try to put something above what the game's hard cap is, a good example is any of the melee damage fixes. Those can't go above 20%. So if you try to put above that, or you try to put 20% on something that can't actually roll that high of a value, then it won't work. So like I said, this is basically just allowing you to mess around with other builds. One of the biggest complaints about Nioh 2 in general, especially the final updates they've been doing, is that it's too hard to change builds, it's too hard to optimize builds. You have a lot of RNG against you, and there's just not really a whole lot you can do about it. But this way, you can actually just take the values that the game will legitimately accept and just put them onto things. You can change the graces as well. So it's pretty much the best of the best. So I'm going to go ahead and link to the thread that has it. You want to click on the post and look at the 1.27 update, because that's the latest update that they put out. It should work just fine. Pretty much all you need to do is just click on things, and you won't cause any permanent damage to your file. I would recommend backing it up anyway if you do any excessive tinkering, but this game actually has a failsafe. If you try to edit an item and it's above the hard cap of what it can take, like say, if you look at my accessories here, if I even tried to put like 20.1% melee damage versus 0 key, what that would do is it would make the game soft reset and go back. And then when you went back in the game, that value would not be there. So, like I said, if you want to mess around with builds, if you want to skip the grinding, or you have a pretty optimized build like I do, but you're missing a few core pieces, this will allow you to basically skip all that crap and just make exactly what you want. It's kind of a shame, really. I feel like this should not even be necessary in the first place, because you know, there's so many different ways to play this game. Like, I play this game as a glass cannon key destroyer. I could dish out a ton of damage. I could destroy a key bar in literal seconds, but I can't take any hits. I can't withstand any punishment, and I think that's a really fun way to play the game. But if I wanted to play the game another way, the game actively prevents me from doing so, because there's so many layers of RNG, you know, especially with soul cores and scrolls and gear, you know, fixes and stuff like that. It's just a real mess. So if you want to mess around with this, go ahead. It should be pretty self-explanatory. The only thing I did not show is choosing things from the drop-down menu, but like I said, even that's pretty foolproof. If you try to put something on it that it can't legally take, then the game will just soft reset. So once you do all your upgrades or changes or whatever. Just make sure you're safe and you're good to go. Thanks for watching.